All right. Bear with me just a moment here. I just want to make sure everything is up and running all right here. All right. Look like everything's all right. Um, so tonight is just gonna be a open mic. Um, and I mean that's pretty much it, man. Tonight's just gonna be an open mic. We're just gonna go over whatever comes up. Um, I did want to say this real quick. I did reach out to what's that cat? Um, Faithful Servant of Christ, I believe his name is. Right, that brother. But I reached out to him, and his schedule is still, pretty busy. So when the time near to come, he's gonna, come onto the show with us because he brought up something interesting. He was basically saying that and this is yesterday, right? This is yesterday's happened last night. After the show, I was just going through Gmail because I saw he sent me a message, and he brought up something about what do you go? What is that? Go to I want to say First Samuel 28 and verse 19, if I'm not mistaken. It speaks about when Saul went to summon the spirit of Samuel. Right, Samuel told Saul that they're both going to rest together. Okay, when he dies tomorrow in war, right? But he was going on about, well, it says that Samuel came up. So that proves that Samuel came up from out of the earth. It's like, well, wait a second. Hold on a second. Does that mean that Samuel was in hell then? Hold on a second. I thought they put up let me just put a comment up in the comment board real quick. Let me just go on the YouTube. I thought they put a link in the comment board. Apparently it didn't come up for some reason. Spare with me a moment. I should be there now. All right, there we go. I found it. So anyway, dealing with that, and it says that Samuel came up, that doesn't literally mean that he came up from out of the earth, right? That's just metaphorical because according to the scriptures, it says that the good and the wicked, they all rest together after death. And that's what is that? That's I want to say Ecclesiastes, the 12th chapter, I want to say the 7th verse, right? The spirit of a man goes upward, but the spirit of a beast goes downward, right? The spirit of an animal goes down unto the earth, right? But the spirit of a man, whether they be righteous or whether they be wicked, their spirit goes upward. Okay, and that's what it is. And that's contrary to what the church is out there teaching, right? Because the church teaches that if you're wicked, you're gonna die and go to hell, and gonna burn there forever. That's not true. Right? That's not true. That's going off. Mind of God, if you want to click that link, you can come on here with us. Um, but yeah, he was going way off. He was saying that the parable of Lazarus and the rich man is actually true, and that there's a place inside of the earth, which he subscribes to the ball earth, right? So he said in the heart of the earth. And then he brought up the verse where it says that Christ went to the heart of the earth, right? So let me see real quick. So um he brought that up. It was saying, well, see, it says that Christ went into the heart of the earth. So see, that proves that Abraham's bosom is in the middle of the earth. That's not true. When Christ was crucified, they put him into a sepulcher. And you can look that up. It's basically, and I'll bring you on in a second, mind of God. It's basically about a mountain, right? It's carved out, and they put bodies in there. All right, that's what it was speaking about when Christ was put into the sepulcher. Mind of God, what's going on, man?
ETT, yo,
Hey, what's up, man? I'm surviving. How about yourself?
dude, I'm just chilling, man. Played some golf, took a nap, so I'm well rested.
Oh, that's good, man. That's good. Did he catch
Mhm.
what I was saying for the first couple of minutes?
I just put Ecclesiastes 3:21. That's the verse you were referring to. I can read it if you want, but I didn't quite get
Yeah,
what topic you
right.
were
Real
discussing.
quick, real quick. Let me just recap it. So basically, faithful servant of Christ was saying that Abraham's bosom is in the middle of the earth, right? So when you die, you go there into the middle of the earth. And he brought up where it says that Christ went into the heart of the earth to say, well, see, that proves it's there. Then he also went to the verse where I brought up where Samuel, right, went to Saul and told him that they're both going to rest together. But he goes there and brings up the verse that says, well, Samuel came up, right? It says they summoned him from up out of the earth and say, we'll see. That proves that, you die and go to the center of the earth because he believes in the round earth. So what would your response be to him?
Who's teaching this? Who are you talking about?
This is faithful servants of Christ.
Oh man, he believes in the spinning ball Earth fantasy. Wow, in
Yeah,
2021, that's incredible. Um, did you have a live stream with him recently? I'm not sure if I saw this.
I
When did you have this?
I have not done a show with him yet. But in the future, I'm going to bring him on. His schedule is pretty busy right now, he said. But in the future, I'm going to work out a time to bring him on, right? Because that's going to be a great discussion. Let me just give you a little rundown of what he believes, which is
Yeah.
just is a little, small portion. He teaches that Babylon's the Vatican City, right? That Christ is a white man, that everyone can receive salvation, right? That God, sent his son to save the entire world, that the Israelites are pretty much done away with now. That
Wow. Whew.
let's see. There's a place called hell, right? That
So what's left with the
I'm in
Bible
hell.
then? If you believe those, right? Like what's left, man? There's nothing left, dude.
Right.
God
As
dang.
I said, man, those guys gotta be smoking crackula or something, man. I mean, those guys are just, as you
Yeah.
would say, they're drowning in the salsa at this point.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's there's no rescuing. If he firmly believes all those, at least the guy you brought on last time, he seemed reasonable. Oh, okay, I'll consider it and all that. I'm like, yeah, that's good. We can't control what he believes, but he seemed reasonable. The Trinitarian guy.
Yeah, yeah. As let me say this, man, I like that guy. I think he was very sincere. That brother's very likable, even though we might, see differently on a couple, topics. That brother's very knowledgeable. He clearly
Right.
knows a lot of stuff. So
He
I'll
could
give him
also be
that, right?
sincerely wrong, as you always say.
Oh
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah. Just like Elder Apostle, which of course, much respect to Elder Apostle Tahor. But yeah, just like Elder Apostle Tahor said about ETT. Hey, look, he can be sincerely, asking a question, but he can be sincerely wrong. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It looks like there's quite a few people, give them the benefit of the doubt, that are sincerely wrong on YouTube, but we'll see, that kind of thing. But yeah, I don't want to take away from what you were saying. I don't know what to say of that. Like, again, a lot of these things are obvious, and then we had to labor to get to these truths. In particular, the flat Earth was probably the one that I labored the most. Christ's skin color, I pretty much accepted that within a few days when I heard Zabak say that years ago. Uh, Mystery Babylon, I think I had no issues. I mean, I saw that America was crumbling, so I had no issues with that. I can't remember who told me that first. It might have been Louis Farrakhan, or it could have been Zabak. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like those ones are kind of obvious now, and obviously, like it's
I
strange
wanted
that people
to
can't perceive
I
them.
wanted to bring something up to you. I wanted to bring something up to you real quick. One of the
Yeah,
brothers, Luke Matt, right? We had him on the show before, but he sent me a message on Google Hangouts, and I'll use coded language, but he was
yeah,
basically saying because he has a lot of problems with his family, but he was basically saying something along the lines to me that his father told him, "Hey, look, if you don't get the
yeah,
juice,
yeah,
well, then you're gonna get punished or something along those lines. I don't want to put the words in his mouth, but he said something along those lines. So, if you could give him some, may I say, information, or advice on what he could do in that situation, because I know that brother's in some tough straits, for lack of better words, man. Which, hey, Luke, if you're listening, man, well, hey, sincere shalom to you, man. Because
yeah.
I know, man, you're going through some stuff, but hey, look, man, the Lord's dealing with you. Okay, so just keep the faith in this thing, man. But yeah, mind of God, what would you have to say to that brother if Casey's listening?
Well, I would say this. I know that it's not popular for us to say this, but people, you have to understand this, and this is not to talk down to anyone, because that's not what I'm about. Certainly at the channel, the Mind of God. God is doing this. We could bring many, many verses out. Matthew 10:35 is a good one. For I have come to set a man against his father, and a daughter against her mother, and daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. And so take comfort in that. It sounds scary. Like, why would God do this? Why would God put enemies in my own household? Well, first of all, that's Bible prophecy. So know that if that's happening to you, pat yourself on the back. You're a fulfillment of Bible prophecy. So, okay, that doesn't help you, but know that God's doing it then. So he must be doing it for a reason. The big reason, we don't know. That's the $1 trillion question. You could buy so many zingers cake trees with those trillion. We don't know. Okay. We don't know the full answer, but we've gone through that, me and ETT. My parents have called me, lots of things and all that stuff. And so we've gone through it, and it's only going to intensify. That's not good news for people, but trust me, we've seen how it's not going to get turned down. I'll pass it back to you.
Oh, absolutely, man. Absolutely, and and that's a tough thing in this truth, man. Hey, that's why the scriptures speak about, hey, look, if you come to serve the Lord, man, hey, look, you better prepare your soul for temptation, man. Scriptures also speak about, a man's foes will be they of his own household. And why is that? Because this truth, right? This thing of ours, as Elder Apostle Kabar coins it, this is going to bring division. And what is that? Mind of God, can you get a Matthew the 10th chapter? Right? Christ said, "What? Look, I have come to set a son against his father, and to set a daughter against her mother."
Yeah.
Right? And why is that? Because this truth, which is what we're teaching, this is controversial, right? This is bound to get under the people's skin, right? People don't want to hear the things that we're teaching because we're not teaching what the Christian church teaches. We're not teaching that, right? That Christ loves everybody, that Christ wants everyone to come together, right? God bless America. We're not teaching that. Why? Because that's
Yeah.
not true. And how do we know that's not true? Because all you got to do is go by the text, right? Go by the scriptures, and you can see that it's not true, right? So we're teaching the truth of the scriptures. And matter of fact, Christ said, what is that? Matthew 11 and verse 6, it says, what? That blessed is the man who is not offended in me. So I always ask the question, well, wait a second. If the message that Christ is, giving the people, if it's not controversial, well, then why the hell would they be mad at you for teaching what Christ said? It just doesn't make any sense. Mind of God, I'll throw it back to
Yeah, I agree. And I'll read the rest of those verses in Matthew 10:35. For I am come to set a man at variance against his father, and the daughter against her mother, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. Listen to this, and a man's foes shall be they of his own household. Verse 37, this is the most important part. He that loveth father or mother more than me is not worthy of me. And he that loveth son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. So that's an offensive message to a majority of this earth. But
you. Yeah,
don't. What did
absolutely.
Christ say? Blessed is that who's not offended by me. And so don't be offended by that. We have two options now, and with very, very clear delineation that's happening in the world. ETT and I see it clear as day. Is that you got to choose God or the government? And a lot of these
Yeah,
families, quote, family members, they're down with the government. We see that. So it's what it is.
yeah, absolutely, man. As I mean, hell, all we got to do, is look at what's going on, every day, here in Babylon the Great, America. You can see the division between these people, man. I mean, half the people, don't want to take the Beetlejuice inside joke, but the other part of the people are trying to force everybody else to, so there's too much division that's going on here among the people, right? But that also proves that we're in the last times because it
Yeah.
says what? That when there should be seeing uproars of the people, and we're seeing that every day. I mean, hell, look what happened last year. That
Mm-hmm.
I might have actually been at the beginning of this year, right over here. I believe it was Philadelphia. No, I mean, hell, man, there was whole blocks of stores that were getting literally busted down and getting, tens of thousands of dollars worth of merchandise, stolen. There was literally, a few thousand people out, robbing these stores at one time. And anyone
Right.
could pull up the video clips to see it. We all saw that. And it just shows us, man, that we're clearly in those times that Yahweh Shai, right, or who the world calls Jesus Christ, spoke about. I mean, at this point, man, only a fool could not see that. I mean, it's too evident at this point. It just,
I
as
got a good
mine
verse
guy
for
would
you.
say, the proof is in the pudding. I'll throw it back to you.
Yeah, I got a good verse for you, man. Not to interrupt. Mark 3:25 to 26 said, if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. So America, just by its two political parties, already is proof that it's done. I'm talking right from the beginning, much less what we see now. And if Satan rise up against himself and be divided, he cannot stand, but hath an end. So, and that's in verse 26, 26, 66. So yeah, I mean that's America. And then once America falls, as we know, us being the biggest consumer, no matter what ITR says, or sorry, TR, they dropped the Israelite. My bad. So no matter what they say, this is America, and we see the division. It's plain as day. You know what's so bad, dude? I feel really bad about this, but like some weird moments that I have, I'll go on YouTube and watch like world star hip hop, fighting. And I'm not a
Really?
violent person. I just find it funny like what people fight about. And I have to be in a particular mood to watch that. But you see fights, they feel like hours of just people fighting everywhere for nothing, like stupid things like, oh, you butted in line, or you took my hamburger or whatever, my french fry and all that. People will fight. It's crazy, dude. This place is
Oh, I
finished.
know. Just for an example, man, when I was at the store last week, I was I was getting something out of the aisles. I told this before, but I'll say it again. And there's this guy at the front of the aisle who was looking around at the chips, right? And then someone comes around the corner and they're, because the guy's in the way of the cart, and it's like, well, wait a second. They just turned around the corner. How do they expect the guy to move already? But they went and started to scream and say, how pissed they are and how everybody's always in the way and whatnot. So it just shows you, man, and these people are on edge right now. I mean, hell,
Yeah.
all you got to do is look at the faces of these people out here, man. Right? It's just what doom and gloom, and
Yeah.
and really, that's just the real spirit to be in right now. Because what the hell is there to be happy about? There ain't nothing that's going on here, man. I mean,
Yeah.
hell,
Not
we're in a
nothing.
time now when these prophecies are being put into full gear, for the lack of better words, man. I mean, you can clearly see it, right? So
Yeah.
this is just the prophecies being fulfilled, right? The people being down and out. That's fulfilled in the prophecies. What is that? That's Isaiah the 24th chapter, right? All joy is darkened, right? The mirth of the land is gone, and it's
Hmm.
certainly true. The mirth of Babylon, the great America, is most certainly gone. I mean, and nobody can deny it at this point in time that the mirth of the land is certainly gone. Nobody
Yeah.
has any money. I mean, hell, you got the whole eviction. I mean, it just this place is falling apart, man. It's just it's crazy what's going on. I'll throw it back to you.
And it basically can't not intensify. It just literally can't, because there's no mechanism in place to like corral this thing. So I don't know. Now it's basically like all the doom and gloom people. Yeah, it's like if you're not a doom and gloom person, something's wrong with that person. It's like, well, do you not live here? Maybe you don't have access to the internet. I don't. That might be the only reason you would not know, but it's plain. So
Right, right.
yeah.
It's just I mean, yeah, as far as what you were saying about it can't intensify, I mean, hell, man, I was looking at an article a while back, I want to say a good couple weeks ago, speaking about how about half of the population, they don't even have enough to handle a surprise $500, may I say bill, or say for example, if one of the car's tires gets flattened or something like that. They don't even have enough in saving to handle that if that was to occur, right? They'll be put in financial ruin. I mean, hell, man, if I spend something on, $5 or something like that, and I mean, hell, I'll be put into financial ruin by something as small as $5. You know what I'm saying? But it just shows you,
you do
and I'm
got it
not
tough,
even being
man.
sarcastic.
You do got it tough, ETT, man. That's wild, bro. But damn, dude. I'm not trying to make fun of you, because it's scary, man. It's not funny at all. Because like, yeah, I mean, any one of us could have one medical problem, and the bill would be a number that we've never even seen in our life. We're like, what is that kind of thing? And
Oh,
again,
trust
I'm
me.
not trying. I'm not trying to make fun of people, because I mean, it could happen to any of us. So
Oh yeah, yeah, man. I hear you. I hear you. Hey, you just gotta take whatever comes upon you. I mean, hell, I know somebody, man. The guy's been in the hospital, for the last 2 months. So, I can't imagine his medical bills, right? So, just got to be happy that you're not in their shoes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
I got a good
hey,
verse
look,
for you, ATT. I got a good one, man.
go ahead,
This is
go ahead.
relevant for those people that live in America as well. Isaiah 31, 1 to 3. Woe to them that go to Egypt, which is modern day America, for help and stay on horses and trust in chariots because they are many, and in horsemen because they are very strong, but they look not unto the Holy One of Israel, neither seek the Lord. Listen to this. Yet he also is wise and will bring evil and will not call back his words. Wait, let me read that again for people who don't understand. God's behind good and evil. Yet he also is wise and will bring evil and will not call back his words, but will rise against the house of the evildoers, in this case, Egypt, America, and against the help of them that work iniquity. Listen to this, verse 3. Now the Egyptians are men. So remember, in modern day, think of America. Now the Americans are men and not God, and their horses flesh and not spirit. So when Christ returns in these so-called UFOs, that's a spiritual battle that's going to take place. When the Lord shall stretch out his hand, both he that helpeth shall fall, and he that is hoping shall fall down, and they shall fail together. So that's the plan for America. So choose your team
Yeah,
carefully.
yeah, man. As I said, man, it's just, there's too much that's going on right now, man. I mean, this place, this has to be it, man. I mean, it's just this place can't go on anymore. The people are in just such a dire situation right now, man. I mean, everywhere you go, all you got to do is look at these people. I mean, hell, man, I just came from the damn Walmart, man. I just had to get my damn mango drinks, right? So I was walking around Walmart, looking at what everyone's doing. And you can tell, man, everybody's car, all they got in there is maybe 4 items, right? Nobody's walking around with half a cart. Nobody's walking around with a full cart anymore. That's something you saw a couple years back, but nobody's doing that anymore, man. And then you look at everybody's countenance, and all you see is doom and gloom on everyone. So this shows you, man, this place is done, man.
Yeah.
Right? Babylon the Great is through. And anybody that denies that is just a damn fool. Which the word fool means unlearned, right? So anyone that just can't accept the facts, well, they're just delusional. That's what we'll, say. It's just evident at this point. Only a person who has their head in the sand, like a damn ostrich or something, only they can't see it. You know what I'm saying? It's just too much.
Sorry, dude. I watch these like pranks videos, and like they're giving people $100 and people are crying. Like that's bad. First of all, you're not supposed to give in public, according to the Bible. You're not supposed to tell
Right.
your left hand what your right hand is doing. But I follow some of these channels just to lighten the mood or whatever. But like they're giving people $100 or like a headphones or something, and people are crying. It's like we're not supposed to be like that. Okay, it's not funny, but like no, we're not supposed to be overjoyed over $100 or this crazy. Yeah, it's sad, man. And it's really sad. I mean, this paper money is just that. It's a piece of paper. There's nothing behind it. It's just a piece of paper. So yeah.
Right. Yeah, absolutely, man. And that's why you have the saying out there that money makes the world go round, which we know the world don't actually go round, but that's a true statement as far as that money can make anybody do anything. I mean, hell, there's guys out there, they call them hitmen. You can hire those men, to take somebody out. And you can find those on the dark web, which of course I'm not promoting that, but I'm just saying that's out there, right? That you have people out there who are willing, to take another man's life just for $10,000.
Yeah.
So it just shows you
Even less than
the
that
mindset.
potentially.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, hell, man, you got people do it for way less than that. It just shows you, man, that how money can have control over one's mind. It's a sad truth, but it just is what it is at the end of the day.
Dude, I was gonna ask you if you don't mind going back to Ecclesiastes 3:21. You gave your understanding on that. Who knoweth the spirit of man that goeth upward and the spirit of the beast that goeth downward to the earth? So your understanding is that beast means what, like animals?
I would say the beast means animal because or animals because the spirit of a man, it says a man, right? So the spirit of the good and the spirit of the wicked, they all go back to the Most High, because we know that according to the scriptures, the righteous and the wicked, they all rest together after death. So I would say that the spirit of the animal, right, the beast, just means the creatures. For an example, I had a pet, right, that died 2 weeks ago. Where did it go? It went down into the earth, right? It didn't go upward. The spirit of a man goes upward, but the spirit of an animal goes downward. Would you agree with that?
I mean, I think that's possible. I also think I'd leave open to the double meaning as well. I wouldn't, you know, the actual definition in the blue letter is what you're saying. So I'm not trying to start a fight, but yeah, I also think it's double meaning with the people who take the mark of that. And so yeah, like their spirit does not go ultimately into heaven. They're destroyed here on earth, you know, with fire. But you're right that when you do look up that word, just so people know, it's good to look up words. It's called Bihama, and it does mean, you know, beast, cattle, and animal. So, but you know, I just something to think about that, especially with what I teach with the sequence and all that. That fits the notion too that, and it's in 321. 21 is 333. It's in Ecclesiastes 3:3. That also represents those who take the mark of that. Um, they're always coming back to the earth. You know, they get their judgment, they come back here. They get their judgment, they come back here. And then ultimately that's God's left hand side. And then the difference for God's right hand side is they receive what's known as salvation. They're in the heavens, but they stay there. You know, like there's a time where they are outside of this, they receive their final judgment, and then they're out, and then you know they return back only when the kingdom's established. But you know, I agree with
Yeah,
you
we
that
have
that word means animal. Yeah.
right, right. We have our brother Fresh and New in the chat. Let me read his comment real quick. He
Yeah.
said, "Yeah, my family totally is. They're totally brainwashed. They want everyone to hang out with well, let's see. I'll just say ones who got the thing like them. LOL." My
Right.
guy, you want to throw anything in there?
Ooh. I mean, my parents try and call me. They've been trying to call for a couple of years. I haven't talked to my parents, I think, in 3 years, maybe more. So, you know, I'm not trying to make light of what people go through, but that's what it is. That's the cost of that. So I just distance myself, not just from family, from anybody. Once I find out that they've taken the MW thing, then yeah, I mean, what can we talk about? What do we have to talk about? I believe they've been marked literally. So there's nothing to talk about. So I avoid people like that. I don't know. What about you, ATT? How do you handle? Do people in your circle have they succumbed to that narrative or?
Um, I mean, yeah, bear with me a second. I mean, everybody that I really know, man, they pretty much stay away from it, which is good, which is good. But I'll say that I do know a couple people who, have got the juice. All right. So, that, hey, look, at the end of the day, man, just, you got to worry about yourself at the end of the day. That's just the way you got to look at it. But of course, a lot of people, are, realizing it's like, well, why would I want to do that? It just doesn't make sense, they'll say. So even these guys in the world, they don't have anything to do with this truth. Even a lot of these guys are out there, and they, know not to get this juice. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
exactly.
So
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, yeah. So that's good. But then you got other guys out there who, do it without hesitation. So it's just I suppose it comes down to the individual at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think there's some atheists that are refusing it. So it just shows what it is.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. We got listen, we have Luke in the chat. I'm gonna see if he wants to join us here. He might not be able to at the moment, but if he wants to, there's a link down there for him. Right, or as the Deacon would say, there's a fresh link in the chat.
Click that link. Second Chronicles 15:13. Listen to this. That whosoever would not seek the Lord God of Israel, whosoever, it's not by family, it's not by nation, that whosoever would not seek the Lord God of Israel should be put to death, whether small or great, whether man or woman. And that small or great language is used again in Revelation 13. So that applies. The same God that said that is the same God that said Revelation 13, right? ETT. It's the same one.
Yeah.
So
Oh, you have yeah, some of these cats, and we got to talk about this for a minute, man. But some of these cats, like what was the brother? Ridge speaks, right? Ridge Napper. He doesn't teach this anymore, but a few years ago he used to teach this, that the God of the Old Testament was the devil. And he would
What
bring
the?
that verse up and say, well, see, this proves that the God of the Old Testament is Satan because he's promoting wickedness here. You know what I'm saying? How would you respond to
Ooh,
somebody like that?
well, man, if Ridge teaches that, then I
He
don't
don't
know. I
he
mean,
don't teach that. He don't teach it anymore, but he used to a few years ago. But then he acknowledged that it's false. But the reason I should mention it, because you have a lot of guys out there who are actually teaching that. I looked it up on the internet, on YouTube, to see if anybody else teaches it, and I found a ton of videos of people out there teaching that the God of the Old Testament is Satan. How would you respond to
wow.
someone like
Um, I mean, that's 1 second. Sorry.
that?
I
Yep,
mean,
take your
that's
turn.
horrifying. That's scary because the God of the New Testament is actually scarier than the God of the Old Testament because he's going to do more destruction. So it's not like the God of the New Testament's in a good mood either. Read Revelation 14.
Right, right. And just these guys. Oh, and one thing I brought up to them is, what is that? Job, the second chapter, where it says that Satan went unto God. Right, Satan went and had a conversation with God. So I would ask them, well, wait a second. How is Satan having a conversation with the Most High if he is the God of the Old Testament? And nobody can answer that. It's just like, well, we'll skip that part.
Yeah, everything is subject to the highest power. We know that now. And so that's like rocket science for a lot of people, but it's just common sense. It obeys common sense, it obeys physics. That's what we were talking with that Trinitarian. And of course, it obeys the Bible. So everything ever is subject to the Most High, and that will never change. So that's like rocket science to a 501c3 Christian. I didn't realize Ridge was into that, or hopefully he's not. But we know that now, and so take comfort in that for people going through stuff with their family and all that. Your family, if they're evil, are controlled by God. They're not just doing whatever they want. God's telling them to do that. What did Christ say on the cross? Who crucified Christ? ETT, you know the answer to this. Who put Jesus Christ on the cross? It was the Most High. Christ tells us this.
Oh, in fact, I believe. Let me see real quick. I believe it was and this is a popular one, Isaiah the 53rd chapter, where we always bring that up. But it says what? That it pleased the Most High to bruise his son, right? It pleased the Lord to put Yahushai through that. Why? Because Yahushai took upon him the sins of all of Israel, right? So the Lord, even though that was his son, he was pleased to do that, because he was, going to take our iniquities from us, right? But going back to what we were talking about, yeah, and that's a hard pill to swallow. In fact, I might have to do a damn, whole nother show on that, right? A hard pill to swallow. And it's all
Yeah.
truth of ours. This is a hard pill to swallow because we're not coming on here teaching a doctrine of the truth. We're not saying like these Christians saying, hey, look, the closer you get to the Most High, the better financially you're going to be doing. That's not true. All right. And that doesn't mean that if you're doing financially okay, that doesn't mean that you're wicked. It doesn't mean that. But
Yeah.
to say that, well, if you're not getting financially better, then the Lord ain't dealing with you, that's not true. Because a majority of the Lord's people were poor. In fact, Christ himself, he would be a what you would call today a couch surfer, right? Christ did not even have his own dwelling place, right? So that's you know, it just speaks for itself. And getting back to what we were saying about the God of the Old Testament, one thing that they'll bring up is, will Christ in the New Testament, teaches against all the laws of the Old Testament. So see, how could Christ be the Son of the Most High then? And some of these guys teach that Christ is the Most High. So that's a
Wow.
contradiction in itself.
Yeah.
But basically, what they say is, what if how could Christ be the same as the Old Testament if Christ teaches against everything in the Old Testament? You know what I'm saying? But the one thing I would say to that,
Hmm.
before I let you respond, the one thing I would ask him, as Christ said in, what is that, Matthew? I want to say the fifth chapter. He said, "I came not to destroy the law nor the prophets." Right. So what law was he referring to? He is referring to the law of the Old Testament. So I would say
Right.
off that one argument, they are refuted. How would you respond to someone like that?
Yeah. That story. What was the argument that they make? I understood your answer, but what was the
They
argument people
teach
make?
they teach that Christ teaches to go against the laws of the Old Testament. So they say, well, see, how could
Right.
Christ be the same God of the Old Testament?
Yeah. So what people we know now, even what Paul's teaching that about one man and one woman, even that kind of thing, because he knew then that the Israelites are going to be scattered, and so they're not able to keep the law when they're in other lands and that kind of thing. And so that's why Christ had to summarize the law with love God and love your neighbor, because a lot of people don't even know that they're Israelites, and they are, and so they don't have all the ways to keep the law. So that's why this was a Bible prophecy, that the Israelites will be scattered. And so that's why the law was consolidated. But that doesn't mean that you can ignore all the other ones. You still have to go and dig in and learn them, especially if you believe you're an Israelite. And yeah, the rest of the world will find it offensive, but who cares? Okay, we don't care. And so about those people, and God doesn't. So anybody that scorns God's laws, God is against them now. And back in Genesis, it's the same thing. So just we're not supposed to be like them. So yeah, the average 501c3 Christian is completely mental. Like they're just completely out of their mind. So I wouldn't listen to them. They get offended when we even talk about the Most High, like we do. This verse right here that I'm about to read, John 19:11, would offend a Christian, but it's right from Christ's mouth. Listen to this. Jesus answered, "Thou couldst have no power at all against me, except if were given thee from above. Therefore, he that delivered me unto thee hath a greater sin." Even the notion of having greater sin would be offensive to a Christian, because they'll be like, "What are you talking about? All sin is offensive." No, there are greater sins and lesser sins. Right here, we're told. So
Right, right. I would agree with that. Let's see, going into the and this brings up the whole thing about grace, because what guys will do is they'll like in the Old Testament time, what people would do is they would go and commit sins, but then what they would do is they would take an animal and they would sacrifice that, and then they would be able to be forgiven for their sins. But us in this truth, now what we know things are wrong, we can't willingly go out and commit those iniquities now, right? Because you can't willingly go out and do those things, right? When you knew, the scriptures speak about, to him that knew the truth and he turns from it, it would be better if he did not know about it. Why? Because it says those who knew the truth and turned back, they're going to be beaten with many stripes compared to them who did wickedness, but they knew not the truth. They'll be beaten, but not with as many as one who knew the truth and fell away from that. Would you agree with that?
yeah, I mean that, dude. That's why that's why we have a responsibility. That's why the world's waiting for round three of TMOG and ETT, because yeah, man, we have to first understand what the truth is. And yes, it's very very important that, especially if we're in a public platform, that we have to teach things correctly. And then this God is not forgiving if we don't. But yeah, I agree with what you're getting at. The sentiment is correct. Also, one thing I want people to understand, that God is behind the evil, so He's patient and He's forgiving, because He knows He created the ball Earth. I didn't come up with the ball Earth. ETT didn't come up with the ball Earth. We've been indoctrinated from right from the womb. So God's not gonna like put the blame on us. We've been in this man fool system, as ETT says, our whole life. This right from the womb. Actually, even in the womb, this system tries to attack children. So, and God is doing that. So He's aware of that, and so am I. So that doesn't mean that we get forgive our own sins, but God's not stupid. He knows that we're eating defiled food and breathing disgusting air and being led by a bunch of reprobates. So
Yeah, absolutely, man. Hey, the scriptures say what? That, from the womb, we all went astray. And why is that? Because as soon as we, were born, born into this, as you said, the man fool system, right? The first thing that we're taught, is what? That the world is a globe, which is the first false thing, and that's just, from that point on, the indoctrination gets, even worse. But hey, it just proves the point that, hey, look, as soon as we were brought into the world, we have all went astray. That goes for Mind of God. That goes for me. That goes for, Fresh and New. That goes for Luke, Matt. It goes for all of us, right? But
yeah,
then at one point or another, when we were exposed to this truth, then we took it upon ourselves to reevaluate what we were told. and and we came to the conclusion that what they told us was not true. So that's just we got to consider ourselves lucky for that, because I mean, hell, for every one of us who came to that realization, there's another 100 million who have not came to such a realization.
Yeah, agreed. And without that, without the ball earth, you can't have an end times because you can't have enslavement because people will be like, okay, well, this was created, so they you just couldn't really you couldn't enslave anybody. So the ball earth was necessary for enslavement, and I didn't come up with that. So I didn't choose the ball earth or any. I mean, I never thought about it until a handful of years ago. So yeah, we're the lucky ones to come out of that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's remember, all of us when we're all brought up with this, no, none of us ever thought to second guess that. It's like, well, how could the Earth not be a ball? I mean, everybody knows that. Then if somebody was
Yeah.
to actually ask you, okay, how could you prove that? All we could do is pull up. We'll see on the TV. Here's an image that shows the world round. So see, that proves it. It's like,
Mhm.
okay, so what if I go and take a picture of a unicorn and put it on the TV? So can I now say that proves that unicorns exist? So the person will say no on that. But it's like, well, wait a second. Why is it that every picture of space is a computer generated image, right? A CGI photograph. There is no real pictures of space, and nobody can prove one, right? And another thing as well, dealing with the satellites, which I do believe there is some stuff up there, of course, but dealing with the satellites, all of those pictures are CGI. There are no real photographs, and anybody can Google that themselves to see the images. They're clearly just an artist's illustration.
Right.
Anyway, Fresh and New put up a comment and said, since listening to you guys, I've learned that a lot of Christians are full of it and have no idea. And yeah, man, hey, look, I came out of Christianity, mine God came out of Christianity, and we know the story, right? We know the doctrine that they're on their teaching, right? And we can clearly see now, those guys are totally, lost in the sauce, or as mine God would say, they are drowning in the sauce, is what the Christian church is doing, man. I mean, hell, man. Hey, look, if you ask a Christian, five, questions about the scriptures, you can already destroy them in a debate. I mean,
Yeah.
hell, man, I was planning on doing a debate with a Christian pastor, but they never contacted me back. What I would do with them is I believe they called him Father Green or something like that, one of the Catholic priests or something like that.
Yeah.
Um, but those guys are on there, man, talking a whole bunch of nonsense, man. I wanted to ask him about the whole hell thing. I would go to certain skip G's inside joke, and
Mhm.
I would ask him, well, wait a second, how could hell be a place under the earth if in this context here it says that this person, say for an example, Jonah 2:2, right? He cried out of the belly of hell, and the Lord heard his voice. So wait a second, was Jonah actually in hell itself? And if not, well then wait a second, what is this word hell doing here? And you ask them that question, and they
Yeah.
don't know. You know what I'm
Ah,
saying? It's just
hell will trip
it's
them up the easiest because that's obvious. Yeah, that's true.
yeah, man. As I said, it's just Christianity is just teaching a false doctrine. They use the book, right? They use the same book that we use, but those guys are just weak, right? I mean, hell, I haven't seen a sucker that soft since Panicula. Inside joke.
Mhm.
Um,
Here's a good
but
verse,
yeah, man,
ETT. Just
Christians are
just a quick
easy.
one.
Go ahead.
Sorry, just a quick one to
Yeah,
interrupt. Job 26:7. He stretches out the north over the empty place and hangeth the earth upon nothing. So
yeah,
God
that's a
literally
good. Oh, and they'll
suspends this
use
earth
that.
on nothing.
Wait a second, though. I've heard guys use that verse to say that proves that the Earth is a globe.
Yeah, the only difference is that he is God, and for them it's gravity. So if a baller wants to say gravity hangeth the earth upon nothing, then they can believe that. So that's their God. That's their big G is gravity, and then our big G is God, the Most High. So it's true.
Fresh and New put up another comment and he said, I tried telling people some of the things I learned from you guys, and they get this look on their face that lets me know I shouldn't even try to convince them. And they look, man, we'll just put it this way. If a lot of guys out here, man, it really isn't even worth, going into it with them. You can ask them certain, things just to test, what vibration they're on, right? Their
Right.
mental vibration. And if they can get it and go deeper with them, but if not, then hey, you got to draw the line somewhere because this isn't, for everybody. Okay, this is certainly not for everyone to know. I mean, hell, the scriptures say that excuse me, scriptures say that knowledge is too high for a fool, which the word fool means one who's unlearned, right? So this is too high for some guys. So you just got to go with that. You just got to roll with that and say, oh, okay. Well, hey, look, if they can't get it, then hey, look, we're moving on. Just like Elder Apostle Dahar said, hey, look, if you can't get it, we'll go over it with you again. But if you can't get it after that, then we're moving on. I'll throw back to my guy.
It's not for other nations. That's what Tahara said. It's not for other nations. So every time he says that, I just start laughing, man. He's oh my god. So ultimately, yes, the book will only make sense to the Israelites. Why? Because they're the ones who honor God's laws, and then that's why it's hell for them. If you don't want to honor God's laws, this is heaven. This is the place you want to be. So it's only hell for the group, the very, very small group that want to honor God's laws because you can't honor them here. So that's why this is hell. So for the everyday average Christian, it's not hell. They're like, what are you talking about? It's great.
I'll give an
So
example. Let me give a couple examples real quick. Here in Babylon, I've seen apps before. If you go on the internet and look at certain things, I've saw no what's what I'm looking for, recommendations on the side,
yeah.
where they have apps where look, you can meet with a local married woman and lay with her when her husband's away. And it's like that
Oh yeah.
activity that's promoted here,
Right.
right? And guess
Right.
what? According to the scriptures, if a man finds his woman laying with another man, that's an act that's worthy of death right there, and that's clearly in the text. But guess what? Here in Babylon the Great, if a man was to find his wife laying with another man, then guess what? If he was to enact the judgment on them, he would be executed, right? That man would be killed. But it's like, well, wait a second. You Americans claim that the Bible's the law of the land. I believe what was it? George Bush said that the Bible's the law of the land. So wait a second. If you could read in the Bible, it says in the law that if a woman lays with another man that's not her husband, they shall be both be put to death. So if a man does that, then he'll
Yeah.
get put to death. So it's like, well, wait a second. America ain't uplifting the laws of the text. So by logical deduction, how could you say that you're a nation under God? It makes no logical sense. But the point of the matter is you have sites here in America that promote laying with a married woman. And that's all okay to do here in Babylon the Great.
Right.
I'll throw it back to my guy.
Yeah, and even like pornography sites, like it's not hard for the government to take those down. Like they know where they are, they know who owns them. It's like if they really were about the Bible, of course they wouldn't put that kind of stuff up. And then, then the money could be used to produce things that we need, like food or build farms or something like that. Like there's obviously money involved in that business, which is what it is. And then if there was a righteous leadership, they would just clean that and then do something productive. So I mean, we could literally spend as many hours as Samuel does filling up the evils of the government. I mean, we could fill up two of them. So shout out
Oh, here
Samuel,
we
man.
have a shalom to our brother here, Invisible War, right? Shalom. He put up a comment and said, George Bush just said that to appeal to people. It hardly was ever the law of the land. Yeah, yeah, man. I know. I'm just quoting that to show the hypocrisy of these people. And the scriptures say what? The words of his mouth, they were smoother than butter and softer than oil, but war was in his heart, right? And that's why, you can't trust this man. They'll put in on a appearance as they're there for the people, right? But behind the scenes, they're really just looking to screw the people over. That's just all these politicians are there to do, is
Yeah.
to make themselves rich and to impoverish the poor, right? To impoverish the people and to put themselves on a pedestal. That's all they're there for. That's all they've
Well,
ever been.
ETT,
And it's funny. Go ahead.
can I quote you? Actually, they're just actors. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm just kidding. I'm just messing with you. Yeah, I mean that's correct. But ETT likes to call people actors. I try to avoid that language to respect people, but it's hard to disagree. They're just actors. So
Or what I could say Just like Mario said in that racist Mario uh show, he said it right. They're all pretenders. They are all pretendos.
Right.
Inside joke. They're all pretendos, is what they are. Right. They're all
And they
nothing
know
but
the
a bunch
Bible's
of
true.
pretendos.
ETT, they know,
Yeah,
you and
yeah,
I
they
know,
know.
they know the Bible's true. Okay, because how do they know then to enact laws that are against the Bible if they didn't know that the Bible is true? So they'll purposely make laws, including what we see going on now. They know that pork is not allowed and that stuff. So guess what they're going to put in it? So in your food and everything. So yeah, they're very aware of God's laws. Of course, that's God's left hand
Yeah,
side. So
let's give a couple, quote unquote laws, because anything that's legal or illegal is simply a rich man said that you do this or will hurt you. That's all it is. There's actually no such thing as illegal or illegal. That's just a society's made up belief. But anyway, going by their rules, right? I'll give a couple examples. The Bible says that a man can have multiple wives. Here in America, you can't do that. It's illegal to engage in the act of polygamy. Excuse me.
right.
Here in America, you're allowed to be a rainbow. According to the scriptures, that's a sin worthy of death right there. According to America, you can sleep with an animal. That's fine. The scriptures say that's a sin unto death.
Jeez.
In America, you cannot sleep with a woman until she's an arbitrary number. But the Bible says that you can lay with a woman when she passed the flower of her age, which is what? When a female, has her first menstrual, right? That's what the Bible says. But America don't go with that. So those are just a handful of laws in the Bible that America is in pure violation of. Oh, the whole pork thing. I mean, hell, you have the
Yeah.
Catholic Church. I mean, hell, you can't have a Christian get together without somebody bringing the pork.
Right.
We all know that. So it just shows you, man, this place is just too much.
And also, like what we're supposed to do is like our increase. We're supposed to feed the poor. So God's laws always cover the poor because that's who He cherishes. So where's that in Babylon? Okay, nowhere. So every single one is, and we're not allowed to charge interest. Our whole world is run by usury. All of it. That's against God's laws. And what does the Bible say? An unjust balance is an abomination. That's our money system is an unjust balance. It's an unequal weight because there's nothing behind it, just a button being pushed. So, I mean, we could literally rhyme off. You could literally read every single verse in the Bible and just show how the world's against it. So,
Yeah, absolutely. The scriptures say, I believe this is in Leviticus, I want to say the 19th chapter, it says that thou shalt not defraud a man of his wages. And that's all America does, right? They take money out of your pay. They call it taxation. That's defrauding a man of his wages. I mean, hell, how is a man supposed to survive and keep his family, working, say, making $11 an hour, but yet they take $2 out? From each hour, all right, or however many monies they deduct when they take his taxes, right? It's
yeah,
all just robbery. That's all it is. You can never get ahead. And here's another thing as well, because according to the scriptures, a man is the one who is supposed to provide for the household. The woman is the one who's supposed to stay home with the children. But what they did
right.
is they made it to where the father has to work two jobs, the mother has to work two jobs, the children had to go to the public indoctrination center. And then this is how they got everyone. They got everybody, excuse my language, but they got everybody by the balls. That's what they have the entire world in their grip. All right.
They've
And
been
people are out there
hoodwinked, so
talking
to
about
speak.
true, true. Hey, look, people are out there talking about the new world order is coming. New world order is coming. I mean, hell, are you really not intelligent enough to see that the new world order is already here? Do you
Yeah,
not know that when Christopher Colombo, right, when Christopher Columbus came over here, they called this the New World. Now, why was America called the New World? Well, oh, that rings a bell. New World Order, right? This was the New World, right? They done away with the ways of the past and
right,
brought on the new ways, right? The new philosophy. And this goes into the scriptures, right? The whore that deceived the entire world by her philosophies. But that's talking about America. That ain't talking about no Catholic Church before somebody even puts that on there. Um, and you
ITR,
already
man. You
know,
guys are
man.
finished, man. If you're teaching the Vatican City, man, stop. Get the hell out of here. No,
Hey, look,
really.
man. How the hell look, if I go up to an average person on the streets here, man, and I ask them, "Hey, did you ever hear about a place called the Vatican City?"
Yeah,
I guarantee you, man, if I go up to 10 people and ask them that, there might be four of them who say they have heard of it, and the
right.
other six will say they never have. But that's Babylon, though. Get out of here. It's ridiculous.
Right. Again, I've said this many times on this platform and on my own. If Mystery Babylon is not America, ignore the Bible. It's a worthless religion because we hate America. We're just rhyming off. We could rhyme off literally 10 hours worth of things that the America is against in the scriptures. So that means that ETT and I hate America more than God does. How is that possible? We're just two everyday average people. So that's why the Bible is useless. And I would say it's evil if Mystery Babylon is not America, because everybody knows that America is the heartbeat of the evil, the quote axis of evil. Even the leaders know it. So how come ITR doesn't know? Oh, sorry, tried and refined. They don't know it. Okay, they dropped the Israelites. Okay, which is appropriate that they did that. Those goofballs.
Hey, look, man. Those cats, man. Hey, look, those guys are drowning in the sauce. Hey, look, I'm just happy I'm not those guys. I'm just happy I'm not one of them. That's all we gotta say is, hey, welp, at least it wasn't us who's caught up in that nonsense.
Yeah, and it's not worth any money. Like we make fun of them, oh, they're paid off and all that, but like, how much money is it worth to go against an obvious truth? Okay, other things we maybe still need to see, even things about the two witnesses, but America being Mystery Babylon, like how that's obvious, dude. Like I could never shake that off. Just like the flat Earth, once you become a flat Earther, you can't shake that off. It's like, how can you read Revelation 17 and then they know all the other verses too in the Bible? It's not just there, obviously. Actually, check out T Mog's recent live stream. I went through all of them in Revelation, but it's not just in Revelation, it's everywhere. It's like, how can you forget that or like ignore that? So there's something else going on. Again, ETT would call them actors. That's fine if he wants to use that language, but that maybe that's correct. I think they're just actors.
Yeah, we can call them pretenders, right? We can call them pretendos, inside joke.
Yeah, I
But
like that.
yeah, yeah. I mean, there's just so much in the scriptures. Say, for an example, what is that? Isaiah the 47th chapter. That's clearly talking about America, right? Jeremiah 50, Jeremiah 51, and those cats
Obadiah.
and yeah, yeah, those cats said that Jeremiah 50 and Jeremiah 51 that already happened, is what they were saying.
Esdras refers to America as the eagle, and so everywhere in the Bible, Obadiah refers to it as an eagle. So are you then basically those people are coincidence theorists? Okay, the eagle is like the bird of America, right? So you're telling me the Bible just let me pick the eagle because I can pick any bird. Like they just happen to pick that one. Obadiah 1:4, though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord, which America's the pioneer of space, right? So
Oh, and
come on.
that's another thing because the Catholic Church, they don't have their own so-called space stations. So how the hell could they fulfill that verse?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I mean that's terrible. Like I felt bad because like I respected Inop, from Good Samaritans. I watched all of his videos. I commented, I learned a lot of, things from him at the beginning. And I was like, dude, man, why are you guys teaching this stuff now, man? You guys are totally lost. Like, I feel bad, but hey, yeah, you're right. At least it's not us, man. I'm not that stupid, so I can't say I know everything. I definitely can't say that, but I definitely know that America's Mystery Babylon. I know that for a
You
fact.
know, one of the pure hypocrisies is that if you ever go to court, right, for something, what they'll do is they'll make you swear on the Bible, right? They'll make you take an oath on the Bible, which that's funny as well because the scriptures say you're not supposed to do that. But the ironic thing is they'll make you swear on the Bible, but yet here it is, they'll judge you not according to the Bible, though. I mean, what type of hypocrisy is that? And then you got these cats out there such as Great Millstone or other Hebrew Israelites, saying that Romans 13 means to obey the government because they are God's ministers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, ETT, you're on a level, man. It might be time. When is your graduation ceremony? You said you went to somebody's graduation. When's your graduation from GMS? I want to attend that if it's online. You know what I mean? Can I read a verse, man, from Second Ezra? You'll like this one.
Go ahead, go
Second
ahead.
Ezra 11:44 to 46. The Most High has looked at his times. Listen to this. Now they have ended, and his ages have reached completion. That's in verse 44. God's elect will do that. Therefore, you eagle will surely disappear. Wow, man, Ezra is consistent with Revelation because America is going to get burned and never be inhabited. So How did Esdras and the Revelator get together? Or maybe it's one God behind this. Therefore, you, eagle, will surely disappear. You and your terrifying wings, your most evil little wings, your malicious heads, your most evil talons, and listen to this, your whole worthless body. This is what God thinks of America. So that the whole earth, freed from your violence, may be refreshed and relieved, and may hope for the judgment and mercy of him who made it. I mean, come on. You don't think God's excited to take this place down? It's not funny, but like we are too. And I would say anybody listening, get excited about this quickly because it's going to happen. It's written. So, dang.
Yeah, yeah, man. I mean, hey, man, it's evident right now. And I mean, hell, you can just look at the world right now, and I mean, there's only a damn fool could tell me that we're not in the times that the Bible speaks about. Because I mean, it's like, hey, look, all you got to do is read the text, and you can clearly see that's all that's taking place in the world right now. So I mean, at this point, man, these cats out here that just can't get it, then hey, look, it ain't for them. Because I mean, hey, look, it's easy peasy at this point. It's too much. The evidence is overwhelming that this truly is the time where the Lord is visiting the world. And we can get that verse, right? One of mine of God's favorite
Yeah, I
verse,
got it.
right?
Yeah.
Second Ezra's ninth chapter.
So, ETT, you believe that those plagues in 16 are targeted towards America, right?
Let's see,
Or
the
affect
plagues
America? You know, like the sores and
that
then all that other stuff.
I'll say this, that yes, the plagues are directed specifically at America. However, there are a couple of them that can affect the world, such as I'll give an example. Scriptures speak about Euphrates
Right.
drying up, right? So that's not near America, right? So I
Agreed.
would say primarily America, but some of them will affect other parts of the world as well.
The only reason I bring that up is imagine what America's state is right now. So if you add those mentally, okay, me and ETT differ on how they're going to be quote implemented, but we both agree that they're going to happen. They haven't happened yet. Revelation 16 is what I'm referring to. So think about America now. Add those. What kind of state? It's not actually. It is kind of funny, but like add those. Like it's like that's God's knockout blow, and those have to come soon because America will just crumble on its own. So for people out there, highly recommend read Revelation 16. Him and I both agree that those haven't happened yet. So think about America and then think about those happening. I mean, that's I mean, it can't handle it, man. Second Ezra 9:2. Then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. God made
Yeah, I
this
mean,
earth.
it's evident. Yeah, it's just evident right now that the Lord is clearly visiting the world, right? It said what? Earthquakes, uproars of the people. I mean, hell, you just had it, what was it, Haiti, just like 2 weeks ago now. There's an earthquake over there that killed, 1,200 people, right? I mean, hell, man, there's just too much that's happening right now. There's too many coincidences, so to speak,
Yeah.
to say the Lord isn't visiting the world. It's too evident at this point, right? We clearly know what's going on, right? Yahweh is clearly visiting the world right now, right? So it's just anyone that can't see it at this point, well, they're just lost. That's just what we got to say at this point, man. And the
Yeah.
Christians are out there saying, we ain't in those times, right? God bless America. You know, we're not in the end times, because first the Antichrist has to come. You know what I'm saying? Just those guys drowning in the sauce.
when they say that, they don't know that they're the Antichrist. So it's like, well, I found one right here. So it's like, they don't know that they're answering their own question if they say that. So because there's many Antichrists according to the Bible.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Hey, the
So
scriptures say that he that doesn't believe is a antichrist, right? So these guys out here who don't believe, they're antichrists. Oh, and another thing as well, and what is it, John the third chapter, right? Oh, of course, their favorite verses in that chapter, but if you read on from that, it says what? He that believes not, he is condemned already, right? So these guys out here who they don't believe in this truth, right? Hey, look, then they're already condemned, right? If they never come to this, well, then, hey, look, they're already condemned if they don't subscribe to this doctrine.
mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's been set from the beginning. We're just living it out. So yeah, without a doubt. I mean, even when Christ says, "If it were so possible to deceive the very elect," it's the fact that, in the very least, ET and I, we're not deceived on everything. Let's just say that, just to generalize it. So, the fact that we know a lot of these things also proves that we're in the end times because we're undoing the deceptions. Obviously, we give credit to God. So I mean, you could look at the end times from many different angles. When people say, "Oh yeah, we've been in the end times," yeah, but has the scriptures been revealed the way it has now in these days through YouTube and stuff? No. Flat Earth is one thing. Lots of things. So
I mean, hell, man, really, YouTube, this is really the main place that the Lord set up for us, because YouTube was actually invented in what was it, 2005? YouTube was invented, right? So it's been, quite a while that this platform's been out. I want to say what, 16 years
yeah,
that this platforms have been out. So, hey, look, the Lord used this platform to bring all of us into this truth. Because I'll tell you, man, if it wasn't for this platform that we call YouTube, I would say a good 90% of us, if not more, we would have never, even heard of this truth before without
agreed.
having access to this YouTube. Right. So the Lord set up this YouTube for us to use in these times, right? That's how we all can come together, talk, and teach. Right. I had somebody the other day say Shalom from Tokyo. So I mean, it just shows you,
Jeez.
and that proves the scriptures because it says that their voice was heard throughout all the world, right? And how is that done? That's done by way of the internet, right? By way of the YouTube, right? So hey, look, we just gotta, use this platform to the best of our ability, because we know now that they're starting to even affect this platform, right? And videos are being taken down left and right. So
Yeah.
soon there's going to be, a famine of hearing the words of the Lord on here, because YouTube's going to censor all, content that goes against the guidelines, like they're doing right now with this thing. So just going to get worse as the time goes on. I'll throw back to mine, God.
Yeah, here's a good verse too. Daniel 12:4. But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even to the times of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and listen to this, and knowledge shall be increased. So the book, I don't believe is sealed anymore. It's open, and you can learn it, and it's out there. You have to dig, you have to do your research and due diligence. But we're promised here as essentially in Daniel 12:4 that knowledge shall be increased. So it's out there. And I don't believe that revelation is sealed anymore. I think, I obviously I'll speak for my interpretation, but a lot of it is plain. Like Mystery Babylon is plain. Then that's two important chapters in the Bible, in the book. So, you know, it's yeah, it's amazing, man. We have to be in those days without a doubt.
Yeah, man, it's just as I said, it's just evident at this point. I mean, only way one could pretend it's not is by being willfully ignorant. That's just all I'm gonna say at this point. It's just,
Yeah.
as I said, it's too much that's happening in the world right now. It's just too much. I mean, hell, man, these people out here are done. These people are finished, man. I mean, hell, all you gotta do is look at the statistics about how many people are about to be put out on the streets right now. So it just shows you, America is crumbling, right? This kingdom, or I should call it a queendom, this place is falling apart, man. And
Yeah.
that's the will of God, right? The will of God, and contrary to what everyone believes, but this is what the text says. Anyone that doesn't agree, what do they don't believe in the scriptures? Because the scriptures say what they say. It says what? That this is the Lord's will, right? This is God's will to bring this to pass, right? So the Lord's going to put it into the minds of these other kings to bring about this judgment upon America. And my guy can pull that up if he wants to. But it's just self-evident at this point. So hey, that's why the scriptures say what? Blessed is the man who reads and those who hear the words of this prophecy, right? Because they had a chance to, get right. So, they could escape, the pure devastation which is about to befall, Babylon the Great. So I'll throw back to mine again.
Yeah, we have to cheer for it. That's why we basically we have no choice for some of us, and I would say it's really kind of easy job is like we have to hope for this place to be destroyed. And so it's every day that goes by we have to then they want us to pick the government, and then God's left hand side. So we either choose it or we choose the right hand side, which is Christ or Yahushua. So I would say choose carefully. I don't know. To me, it's like kind of an easy decision, but yeah, we need to basically want America to be destroyed, because if it doesn't get destroyed, then the Bible's not true, and then the kingdom can't happen. And then what are we left with? Islam. Islam's a
Oh,
joke. It's stupid.
I forgot though. I forgot because remember the kingdom already came, right? We're already living in Christ's kingdom today, according to William Bell.
Can you imagine? That means that God is not intelligent. If that's the argument they should use. If that is the case, then God is stupid, basically. If this is the best God can do, and he does not say that this is the best that he can do, he does not say that in the Bible. He says that we can't even imagine what he has prepared for those who seek him. So, you know, yeah. ETT, man, I got to roll, dude, but thanks again for having me, man. Hopefully we'll chat again soon.
Yeah, yeah, sounds good, man. Maybe soon we can do a show on your page because my time actually is already, running low on this page. So I only have like 5 hours left for till the 24th.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, just
yeah,
ping
so
me.
we'll have to do some. Yeah, yeah, man. I'll definitely reach out to you and we will, we'll do some shows on your page. All right. All right. I think we lost him there, but yeah, yeah, my God, thanks for stopping by tonight. It was good to, to chat and have a, little conversation. Mighty God knows a lot, right? I'll give him that. I'll give him my respect on that, even though we see a couple things differently. And that's cool. As I said, I could be right, he could be wrong, or he could be right and I could be wrong. That's certainly a possibility. It could go, either which way. Um, but just a little heads up here. Um, I'm gonna be streaming a little slowly on the channel for a little while because I only have like 5 hours left until the 24th, so I'm gonna spread the time out. So we'll definitely work on that. Um, all right, I see we got Luke, right, the light in the dark world in the back chat. I'll bring you on for a few minutes. I'm only gonna go for about 10 more minutes, but I'll bring you on. Hey brother, what's going up? Shalom.
Shalom, ETT, how are you?
Yeah, I'm doing all right, man. What's up with you?
Nothing much, man, nothing much. I'm still in lockdown in Australia, I
Yeah, I
suppose.
hear you.
Have you watched a Call for an Uprising video? Like he was talking about Australia and
I
how,
will. I'll give it a watch later. I'll look his channel up and see if I can find the video.
you know, lately I haven't been watching. Okay, so lately I've been watching a Call for an Uprising because the situation in my country has just gone like it's not good, DTT, not good at all. Like they're gonna force people to get the V, yeah, the magic potion. I'm gonna say, if you don't take the magic potion, you won't get a job. If you don't take the magic potion, you won't enter like what you call a football stadium. If you don't take a magic potion, you know what I'm referencing, magic potion.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that's
I
what's
know.
happening in Australia. Hmm. So tell
Damn,
me what's
man,
happening in
and
America.
me and my guy, we did go over the text that you sent me the other day. We did talk about that at the beginning of the show. So after, if you want to go back and listen, we gave some advice on how to handle the situation, man. But hey, man, I know how you feel, man. Over here, it's slowly but surely, as the days go by, it's gonna get as restricted as over where you're at. We're gonna soon have
Yes.
to, to enter into a store, you're gonna have to take the juice. So yeah, we're not too
Let's
far
just
behind you, man. So go ahead.
let's just call it a magic potion because that's what it is. A
Okay.
magic. You know how the Bible condemns magic.
Yeah.
How magic's evil. Yeah. Like I'm in a situation where if I don't take the jab, the magic potion, you won't get a house. It's getting that ridiculous, and I have no idea what GMS Australia is doing because they're up in Queensland. The only active members up in Queensland who actually don't like you, and here they are, in Queensland, right? Western Australia, Queensland, they don't really have to take the magic potion. It's Victoria and New South Wales, and there's even people in South Australia that are taking the magic potion. See, I'm in New South Wales, so and we're being run by what's it called again? A woman. You know, most of the state premiers are being run by women. And do you think that's biblical, ETT?
I would say that it's that a man is born to be in rulership.
Yeah, but in Australia, the states are run by women, most of them. And they can't, and it seems that they can't control their emotions. You know what I mean? And
Right.
like, we're having 1,000 cases a day, and I know it's reducing. Then they said, oh, if this country's not vaccinated, uh, so basically what they're saying is this country, right, the country I live in, to reopen it, we need 70% of people taking the magic potion. You know, I just, you know, I've been talking to like friends about it over here in Australia. I actually do have friends, you know, they're not really, well, that religious, but they did tell me they have no right to tell me that I can't take this. That my stepdad has no right to tell me that I can't take this if I do not take the magic potion, right? If you don't take it, you're out of this house. Now he's saying, if you don't take it, I'll beat you up for it. It's getting to that stage, and I actually have recordings of that, ETT.
Hey,
It's
brother,
not good at all.
I'll just say this, man. Hey, just keep the faith, man. Because I can tell you, man. We're all going to be put into certain situations like this, man. So I'm, of course, sincerely, feel for you. You're put into that, man. But hey, I'll tell you, hey, that just like the scriptures say. What is that? Second, I want to say Ecclesiasticus, the second chapter. It says what that whatsoever is brought upon you, take it cheerfully, right? So, hey, in this truth of ours, we're gonna catch certain adversity, hell from our family and stuff like
Mm,
that. So, hey, brother, hey, man, whatever you can, if you might have to leave and stay with someone else or on your own, you know, go through with that, man. Because hey, look, at the end of the day, man, we're all gonna be tried. Some of us are gonna have our own hell in this thing, but as I said,
yeah.
man, hey, that'd be my advice to you on that, man. I'm sorry that you put into that,
You know,
situation.
my mother wants to get rid of my stepdad for the abuse she suffered under him. You know, I
Right.
ran away like earlier this year, around about April, as you probably know. I ran away from my mother, no, no, my stepmother and my father. You know,
Yes. Yes,
and
you told me that.
you know that happened last year. Now, then I moved. Get this, I've moved into a place, into, you know, a bunch of lesbians, as I probably told you. Then my stepdad told me, if you don't like it, you can shift back to where the gins are. And the word gin, ETT, it's about as bad as saying, it's almost as bad as saying the N word. You know the N word?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So the word, so basically, you know, the Aboriginals in Australia, the white men would call the Aboriginals, you know, gins and boongs, and you know, there
Right,
was
right.
another
I know what
one.
you're saying.
And over the western areas of Australia, right? Um, this is how the white men treated the black men in Australia. They would use them as slaves. They would actually breed out the blackness out of the children. They're saying that it happened much worse here in Australia than the Americans, because in the US, there was not much of this what you call a breeding. Like they had a couple white men like raping a black woman, and then the black woman has lots of children that are half caste. Then they get more white men to, then they grow up, you know what I mean? Then they try and
Yeah, I know what you're
breed out
saying.
the blackness. And this actually happened in my country, Australia. This is what you call the lost generation. Have you heard of this one? Lost generation?
Yeah, yeah, I've heard about that.
So, yeah, so 100 years ago, the white men would literally shoot an Aboriginal like a dog, like a kangaroo, like an animal. That's what they would literally do. And they would literally come, and you had a squatting. They would squat on the land and say, "It's my land," even though it's the Aboriginals' land. And, you know, as we both discussed before, how homosexuality is a sin, the fact that two lesbians took me into their house and I lived there for a couple of weeks out of my my father and my stepmother, you know, that's now the situation of the church in Australia is very bad. ETT, they will not step in and help my situation. Yeah, two lesbians who believe in, Jesus. They believe in the lovey-dovey Jesus. Just letting you know that Jesus, the lovey-dovey Jesus.
Oh yeah, yeah, man. And I want to say as well, man, I know how you feel because I used to live with, two of them, myself, two women who were together. We moved in with some of my mom's friends. And we didn't know at the time, but they were actually, both of them were in a relationship together. So, I know how that feels. I was put in a similar situation myself, and yeah, man, but yeah, as far as the lovey-dovey Jesus, man, yeah, that's what these churches are out here teaching, Jesus loves, all these people, and I know certain guys, man, that, say that, oh, well, Jesus loves these rainbow, I call them, Jesus loves those people. That, well, where is that in the scriptures? You ask them that and they don't know, right? It says, hey, the scriptures say those who commit that abomination, should be put to death for that, right? But the church don't teach that, right? They teach to love all those people. Why? Because the church is teaching, false. Anyway, I'll throw it back to you. You see.
Okay, okay. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm there.
Okay. You know, the interesting thing about the two lesbians that I lived with for a couple of weeks before moving to my mother's house, um, they respected my beliefs because I was teaching them a bit of the Black Hebrew, the Hebrew
Right.
Israelite doctrine, and they
Yeah.
respected that. And I told them that Jesus was black, and they believe that Jesus is black. Then they were very
Oh,
happy
that's
to
good.
take me in. You know, although they believe
Yeah.
in the love, there's a type of Jesus, and there's black people in your country also believe the black lovey-dovey Jesus. What do you think of that Jesus?
It's totally, it's totally off. And as I said, I was brought up in the church, so I know, that version of Christ that they teach. But I mean, it's like, that doctrine that they teach, you can clearly just look in the scriptures, compare that Christ with the Christ of the Bible, and you can clearly see that they're two different, right? The God of, the Bible, I'll give an example. When Christ was on earth, he went into the temple where they were buying and selling, and it says that he made a whip and he started to hit people in there, right? So Christ got, pissed off, at the people who were in there. The Christians won't bring that up though, and anyone can read that in the book of I want to say the book of John. They can read that in, right? Christ, when he went into the temple, he started to flip tables over, and he made it says a strap, right, a whip out of some material, and he started to hit people who were selling and buying in the temple, right? Because he said that they defiled the temple. right? But the Christians, they won't read that because that goes against the that sweet, Jesus that they teach. Another thing as well, they teach what that when Christ comes back, Christ is coming to love everybody, to give out lollipops and rainbows. That's not true, right? When Christ returns, there's going to be a lot of bloodshed on that day, according to the Bible. So we're not going to sugarcoat it, right? We're just going to bring out the raw truth of the scriptures, right? Compared to the Christian church, we're going to bring out the truth, unlike them who, they sugarcoat it so they can, keep the people flowing into the church. Why? Because that increases the money that's being brought in, right? So they're really throwing the Lord under the bus, so they can continue to make that money, right? Because if they tell the real truth to the people, then the people are going to stop coming because the people don't want to hear the truth. I'll throw it back to you.
Mm. You know, the fact that, I'm still trying to ponder, right? The fact that two lesbians took me in, and I know them from my workplace too. See, I know them from my work, and I knew them last year. Compared to all the Christian churches I've been to, you know, they didn't want to help me. They were like, oh, we can't get involved, or they don't even want to listen. It was like, why should I even bother? You know, I'm very disgusted in the church in Australia. The Australian church is very slack. In other words, they water down the gospel to try and bring people in. Yeah, all these hardcore atheists, right? There is a bit of a
Right.
growing concern, atheism, right? There's a
Yeah.
hardcore atheist, right? And they
Yeah.
want the church to be taxed. They want, yeah. What do you think of that one? Taxing the church.
The church, what they do, and this goes into the 501c3. Because if they get that, basically what it means is that they can be exempt from certain taxes, but in return they can't teach about certain things, right? So the churches, they are taxed, at least over here they are, unless they take the 501c3, which basically means that they can get exemptions from certain taxes and regulations, but they have to limit what they can teach to people from the Bible, right? So they're really, sugarcoating things, but they're being able to keep more of that money by the government, right? So it just shows you that's how they gain control over the minds of the people, right? So it might be different over in Australia.
Hmm.
I'll throw it back to you. Yeah, we'll give the brother a minute to come on because he had to go on mute real quick. Let me see.
That's already okay. Oh yeah, I'm back.
Yeah, I hear you,
Um,
man.
now I've been okay. I had a chat to my mother. Yeah, I got a bit of a strategy on how to get rid of that stepdad out of my mother's house. Let me tell you something. A camera and recordings do not lie. They do not
Yeah,
lie.
I agree.
They do not lie. And I actually have that recording of my stepdad telling me, if you don't take the vaccine, you're out of this house. There's, I'm telling you, you Americans need to watch what's happening in my country, Australia. You may think you're all free. You got to enjoy your freedom, because in Australia they took away the guns because there was a false shooting. Everyone's believing it. The government, the government here hands out money, while the government hands out money to people who go on drugs. We got Hillsong, Hillsong, making mega bucks. Then got all these atheists who look at Hillsong, then they go and have these rants saying the church should be taxed. Then you're telling me this 105c3 church, you know, it's
Yeah.
it's getting ridiculous in this country. It's getting ridiculous, and now we have to scan. Okay, I want to tell you something about You heard of QR codes, right?
Yes.
Now, everyone's downloaded this app, and even I've downloaded this app called My Service My Service whatever state, app. So I got a My Service New South Wales app. Now, now I've noticed a big increase of businesses saying you must scan this QR code. If you do not scan this QR code, you'll be refused entry. A QR code. Why? Because I want to track people to see if they have the corona, the coronas. I should, or the V. That if you have the flu, the mild case of the flu or not. In my region, right, there's only 5 people that had corona, and the media exploded. Everyone's believing everything the media is saying. Okay.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you, man. That just shows you, man. Hey, just gotta, watch. Just gotta watch what they're telling you. You just gotta be diligent. And not believe, in the doctrine that they want to put out there to the people, right? So that's what a lot of people fail to do. They just believe whatever they see on the TV set. It's sad, but that's just how it is. Everybody believes what they see.
Mm.
Nowadays. So yeah, man, I understand. I hear what you're saying, man. Things are bad over here, but yeah, things are gonna get slowly but surely. There's gonna be a lot more that's gonna be going on. Over here, and over where you're at. Very soon. You're
Mm.
not gonna be able to get employment without taking that magic
Magic
potion, as you
potion.
said.
That's what a call for an uprising calls it. Magic potion. Let's just call it a magic potion, everyone.
Hey, we got LOP in the house. Hey, LOP, what's going on, man?
Hmm. Feel
Hey,
strong
can
start
you
saying
hear
I
me,
totally
man?
agree.
We can hear you, LOP.
Hey, what's up? It's a bit late
Yeah,
here.
not much, man. We
Where
were
are you
just
guys
having a
from?
little talk.
Or, I mean, uh, the new guy. I know you're from New York, but the the light is dark or whatever his name is.
Yeah, that's a good friend of mine. Me and him, we go back a couple of years. I don't think you guys have met before. So,
Yeah,
Luke,
I don't
this
think.
is LOP, and LOP, this is Luke. You guys can talk for a few minutes if you'd like.
Hey, man, what's up?
Hello, LOP. Where are you from?
I'm from,
Hello. Are you?
Central Europe. Yeah, Czech Republic. You probably don't even know this country, but yeah.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah,
know.
but,
I know because I know the Czech Republic because I'm half. Well, genetically, I'm half Greek. So
oh,
Greece
of course, yes.
and yeah, Romania, Czechoslovakia. I know that European countries.
So, are you
So
from New Zealand or?
no, I'm from Australia. I
Yeah, I
was
was
born in
guessing.
Australia.
Yeah, I was guessing either Australia or New Zealand. Yeah, based on the accent and so
Oh
forth.
yes.
But that's I have one friend in Australia too, South Australia. I think it's Adelaide. Do you know that place? Adelaide.
Oh, is it a woman or
No, Jeff, a guy. It's no
a
that guy.
guy?
Yeah, but
Because
do you know Adelaide in Australia?
yeah, I know. I know Adelaide. I know Northern
Yeah,
Territory. I know Western Australia, Northern Territory, Queensland, South
yeah.
Australia, New South Wales, Victoria, the communist state, I should say, and Tasmania,
And his
or
name,
NACT.
he's saying that his his town or his city is like the meth capital of Australia. Adelaide.
Mm.
I didn't know that. That's
Oh
interesting.
yes.
Yeah, yeah. And you guys, who you Australia is like the hill song. They came from there, right? Or
Mm.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
I, yeah. I do not. I never liked them. My sister likes it. Just for me, it's horrible music. But
Mm.
anyway,
Yeah.
Yeah,
What do you think of
you
what's?
guys missed it by a couple minutes. We had Mine of God on here earlier. So me and him talked for a good hour or so, but he had to get some sleep or something, so he left a little early. But yeah, I'm gonna go for another 25 minutes here because I do have to watch my video time. But yeah, I'm happy to have both of you here with me. Um, so yeah,
Mm.
let's see. LOP, is there any topic you would like to bring into the chat for tonight?
yeah. What were you discussing before? I didn't check much, so I don't know what if we can continue the same, or I don't know like what's the topic you would wanna discuss. I don't know. I,
Um, Luke was just telling us, some of his some of the stuff that's going on over in Australia. But I'll just jump in and say that yeah, it's just evident that with everything that's going on right now, that we're clearly living in the times, when Christ is about to return, right? So hey, look, for my brothers out there who are listening, we just got to be prepared because we are all going to go through the time of that great tribulation. So don't believe certain things that Mind of God's on there talking about, that the elect are going to be saved before that, because that's a false message. You don't want to believe that, right? Be prepared to go through this
why would
time of,
not?
go
Why
ahead.
I don't know why you're saying so the elect will never be saved, will not be saved, or like what? That's a bit.
The elect are going to be saved after the tribulation. The scriptures say, "He who endures until the end, the same shall be saved."
Oh, that's right. Yeah, yeah.
Right. So we have to go through
So
the
I don't
time of the
understand.
great.
So how does
Go ahead.
he? Sorry, how does mind of God then? What does he base this on? That the elect will not go through the tribulation if Christ said that the only people saved is to endure the tribulation or whatever. You know how
You
what
see,
what does he
yeah,
base it on?
I'll answer. I'll answer that. From what I know, because me and him were going back and forth on this for a while, but basically what he brings up is he basically just puts a couple verses together and says that the time of the tribulation is different from the time of the great tribulation, right? So we'll say, well, the elect are going to be saved before the great tribulation. That's basically all he really backs it up with. But I ask him certain questions like with the one I just quoted, right? The scriptures say, he who endures until the end, the same shall be saved, right? We have to all go through that time of trouble, right? There's a time of trouble that's coming to try the entire world, so we all will have to go through that. I asked him about that, and he basically skips that. So as I said, mind of God, I like the brother. The brother knows a lot, but you got to take what he says with a grain of salt because it's certain things he says are clearly incorrect, such as
No,
the
but
elect
but
being
I would
saved.
have to.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I would have to agree with him on one thing that like the in Revelation you have all these plagues, the seven seals or vials that they are poured upon the earth. So that would mean God's wrath is even with the elect. That I think that's his argument actually, because like why would the God would why would God punish his elect? Like because he's saying he's punishing those people that are evil, and his elect are you know not in that category. When why would God punish his elect? That makes no sense, right?
I'll answer that. I'll answer that question because if you read if you can put it on mute real quick because there's a little background noise there. But anyway, to answer that, if you read the plagues, right, which is what Revelation the 16th chapter, it basically says that those are plagues that came upon the wicked. So the elect are going to be on the earth during these plagues, but these plagues are going to be affecting the ones who took the MOB, and they're going to be affecting the wicked. They're not going to be there to affect the righteous. The righteous will be on the earth, but they're not going to affect them. That's why I'll give an example. The scriptures speak about a mark of the Most High, and that's I want to say Ezekiel the 9th chapter, right? There was I believe we spoke about this the other day in when I was live, right? The mark of God that was
Yeah, I remember.
put upon the elect, right? So that's going to give them exemption from that time, right? So the elect are not going to be the ones who are plagued by these plagues, but they're going to be on the earth because we know, according to the scriptures, I'll give an example. What is that? Matthew, the 24th chapter, verse 29, right? Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the Son of Man return. Paraphrasing it. But right, we know that after the Great Tribulation, after all these things come to pass, that's when Christ is going to return, right? So we have to endure all those things in order to be one of the elect to receive the salvation. So as far as the plagues go, the elect will be there on the earth during those plagues, but when the final plague comes, which is that destruction, the elect are going to be beamed away from that. They're going to receive salvation from that final plague. So they're going to be there during the others, but they're not going to be the ones who are going to be affected by those things. All right. But another aspect to look upon it is the scriptures speak about how some of the elect are going to be put to death during the time of the tribulation. The scriptures say, what? Be faithful unto death, and I will give you a crown of life. I believe that's in Revelation, the 3rd chapter. If you want to chime in on that and ask a question, that's fine.
Yeah, it's the revelation is really complicated in its timeline. It goes like, from here to there, and so it's a bit hard to understand sometimes. But I guess, it's hard to say, but definitely, like, yeah, they're gonna be saved, like, before the whole thing is destroyed, for sure. But yeah. But
Right.
yeah, I mean,
Because
I
one
get,
thing,
I get it
go
when he
ahead.
believes, like, hey, I want to be taken away sooner than, but what he's saying, my God, he wants to be taken, and everybody should want it, but like, it, we don't know if it's gonna happen.
Right, right. And I do agree with you, right, that we all would like to, be saved. I mean, hell, we wish we were saved yesterday. But as I said, I'm
Yeah,
just telling you guys, don't get your hopes up in that, because that's not true. The scriptures say the elect have to go through that time of trouble. The scriptures say that some of the elect men are going to be faced with the option to receive the MOB, and some of them are not going to take it. So it says they'll be beheaded, right? They're going to be killed for the witness of Christ. So I ask him, well, how is that going to happen if the elect are not on the earth when this takes place? And you ask him that, it's like, well, I don't know, right? So then another aspect is dealing with it says the day of the Lord, right? The day that Christ returns. It says that there's one day of the Lord, not twice, right? Not two of them. So he is on there talking about that the Lord's going to return one time to save the elect, and then he's going to come back again to bring judgment. It's like, well, wait, so that means the Lord's going to return twice. That's nowhere in the Bible. And again, I've read the Bible twice. That's not in there. That's clearly not in any text. Neither is it in the Apocrypha either. He's
there
just
is
saying
one.
that.
Yeah,
Go
there's
ahead.
one verse that I think it's the book of Hebrews that says, like, you know, Christ came once, and to them that look for him, he shall appear the second time for salvation. Something like that,
Now what?
along those lines.
Okay, now what is that? What is that talking about? Christ came once when he first came on the earth 2,000 years ago, but then he comes a second time, which is the time that he is going to return to save the elect. So that one is not talking about him returning two times, because if you read the verse, it's talking about the one time which he came, which was 2,000 years ago when he was put on the cross, but then the second coming is when he is going to save the elect and bring the judgment upon the world, right? So I would actually use that
Right.
to support my statement. Would you
I,
agree?
I think you're. Yeah, I mean, like, nobody's saying, like, everybody knows that, Jesus' second return, right, or second coming, and there's no third coming. I mean, why? Nobody's saying that he will come, like, the third time. Like, no, nobody. Who's even saying that? Right? Like, everybody's waiting for this big day, like that God or Christ will return. That's you know. That, I never heard anybody saying, like, no, Christ is really gonna return, and then goes away for a while, and then again. But then again, also the Bible is complicated, and it says, like, the 1,000-year reign, and then, like, the Battle of Armageddon, and it's fucking complicated, all of it. You know, this is what I'm saying. So many people can see into it and interpret it different ways and stuff like that. It's a
Yeah, I
hard
understand,
topic.
man. I understand. It's definitely, confusing to understand, but yeah, as I said, I'll respect mine of God's, viewpoint on that. That's cool. But as I said, I'm just gonna tell you guys, hey, look, you know, according to what I see in the text, we're gonna have to go through that time, So as I said, if a brother wants to see differently, that's cool, right? There's no problem with that. But just from what we read, right, it's clearly telling us that we're gonna be tried by it calls it an hour of temptation. What is that? I want to say Revelation, I want to say 3 and 10, right? The hour of temptation that will come upon all the world, right? So all the elect, the average people of the world, everyone's going to be tried, right? Everyone's going to be offered with the option to take the MOB, right? So everybody is going to go through that time, right? So I'm just putting it out there, so when you see at what he said does not happen, then you remember, oh wait, what ETT said, well, we're all going to have to go for that time, right? So to be faithful in that time, because some of us, some of the elect, which we don't know who those are, but whoever they are, some of those men will have to be put to death for their belief in Christ, because the scriptures say what? That the dead in Christ they will rise first, right? And the scriptures also speak about, I believe it's in Revelation 20th chapter, it says that he saw the souls of them who were beheaded for the witness of Christ because they did not worship the beast nor his image nor receive his mark. Right. So their elect are going to be offered with that opportunity. Anyway, Luke, do you want to jump in and say anything? Because I'm only going to go for another 10 more minutes here, and I'm going to end the stream at about 2 hours. So you can join in.
Yeah. Oh yes, I totally agree with you, ETT. The the elect. Well, the Bible does say that there's going to be a persecution of of followers in Yahushua. There is going to be a mass persecution, and you cannot deny that. Like, seriously, like, open your eyes. You heard about what happened in Afghanistan,
Oh,
ETT.
real quick, just yeah. Actually, I actually know somebody who's over there right now. But anyway, just to add on to your statement, Mind of God says that which I'll respect Mind of God's view, but I just want to put it out there. He teaches that none of the elect are going to die. So again, I would have to challenge that because as I quoted in Revelation the 20th chapter, it speaks about some of the elect who were killed because they did not
Mm.
worship the beast, neither received his image or his mark, right? So some of the elect are going to be killed for the testimony of Christ. But then when Christ returns, they're going to be, resurrected and will receive, salvation, right? So that's just, one that we got to put out there, right? So mind of God's awful in that, saying that none of the elect are going to die. That's clearly not in the text. Anyway, Luke, I'll throw the mic back to you.
Like, as I said, in Afghanistan, have you heard? You know, the Taliban taking over.
Yeah, I see.
There are Israelites in Afghanistan, and the Taliban's knocking door to door to see if you're an Israelite, and they will behead you. Okay, they'll cut
Yeah,
you
it's
with a
crazy, man.
knife.
I've seen some like Taliban. They shoot people in the head, and um, I don't know what is it based on. Like, who do they shoot? Like, if they're Israelite, and if they say no, or what? Like, what's the deal with that? I don't get it.
Yeah, are there? Yeah.
I don't know much about that Taliban stuff, but yeah, it's pretty crazy. I've seen some video actually where they were, they lined up like 10 people and they shot them all in the head, and like not just once, like they were shooting on them like mob style, like fucking 20 times, like crazy. It's just insane, you know, that what's going on there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely,
that.
man.
Yeah, what's happening around the world is truly, we are truly in the end times. Like, in Australia, my country, your country, even Italy, they have drones. They're gonna have drones like testing your temperatures if you have the flu. You know what I mean?
Really?
Yeah,
Um, uh,
yeah.
uh,
Oh,
yeah, you heard about it? Italy.
well, I haven't about the drones and stuff. Is it in Italy? Okay, so in my country, I didn't hear about this, but I get and I guess if Italy has that, then that's I don't know, man. It's weird. Like, uh, how would they test the drones if you have the the so-called flu or you know I I don't understand how would they even be able to do it. Like what? Like if you have if you have symptoms, how do they do that? They have to do the test. Like what do they call it? A swab test or whatever. That's how.
Guys, I gotta go. Guys, I gotta go.
All right,
All right. Well, hey, Luke, thanks for stopping by, man. Shalom.
all right, man.
Shalom. Gotta
You
go.
All right.
Nice,
Take
nice
care,
talking
man.
to you.
Yeah, yeah. Anytime, man. Anytime. So anyway, LOP, I'll go with you for another 10 minutes here, then I'll end off at 2 hours. But yeah, man, anything else that you wanted to come on here and add to the discussion?
Well, yeah. Well, I don't understand the whole thing with the drones. I, like I've never heard of that even. Did you hear about that? Like some drones that are testing if you have the like.
I
I think this
yeah,
bullshit.
yeah, man. I haven't heard about that either. I think that's the first time I'm hearing about that
I
is
don't
now
think that's
too. So
true.
I'm not.
Or
Yeah,
I,
I
I
I
cannot.
would agree with you. I agree.
I mean, it's hard to again, if he's saying in Australia, maybe it is. I cannot deny
I
or
mean, it could
confirm.
be.
Yeah,
It could
but
be. As I said, I'm not there, so
but it
I'm
seems a
not
bit
sure. It could be true,
yeah,
might not.
seems a bit far fetched. Like what like how would they even do it? Like it's impossible almost. Like you know.
Yeah, man. But going back to what we were saying, it's just I think it's evident now that we're clearly in those times, when these prophecies are clearly being fulfilled, right? So the elect are being fulfilled right now, right? So we don't know who those people are, but we're gonna see in the very near future, right? Because
I
and here's a
have
good one.
sorry.
Go ahead.
But I have to say, yeah, what he said, like the QR codes. I know that, that is going on. They're really like not letting people in somewhere if you don't have this QR code, which is connected to the, uh, you know, to the
Yeah.
MOB, I guess what we would say. And yeah, it's crazy. And also, I heard like my sister, she couldn't get a job unless she got the thing, as we say. So it's pretty crazy, right? They're really pushing this more and more right now, and every day more. So I agree with that. We're, you know, it's
Yeah,
getting worse,
man.
and it's getting worse.
Go ahead. Yeah, as I said, man, here, where I'm at, near New York around here, very soon, man, you're not going to be able to, get a job at any of these establishments or even enter in without, showing proof that you got that juice. You know what I'm saying? So it's we're in some trying times here, man. We're definitely, in those times, right? So, going back to, what Mind of God was saying, he's given the people, a false sense of hope, right? That they're gonna like he's saying that Christ is gonna return this year. Now, could that happen? Sure, but we know according to the scriptures that Christ returns at the end of the tribulation, right? So we're telling the people, hey, look, you've got to be ready to face hard times here. Because, hey, look, if you want to, sit with Christ in the kingdom, you're going to have to go through some hardship on this side. This isn't going to just be a cakewalk. You're going to have to go through adversity and a trial, right? So we're going to have to be tried, in the hour of temptation, aka, the Great Tribulation. We're going to have to be tried with that. And if you can make it through that, then you're going to be able to receive salvation. And going back to what we said, he who endures until the end, the same shall be saved. I'll throw it back to you.
Right, I know. I just think that like like what more? Like I thought that my whole life is hell, and I'm gonna go through even something worse. Like I don't want that, man. I'm gonna it's gonna like my whole life, or at least like
Yeah, I hear
um
you, man.
yeah, you know what I mean. So it's like another, it's getting worse. I'm gonna and also like I have some like okay, so if it's gonna get really really bad in the city, then we have this cottage that's a small village. I probably just move there. You know what I mean? Because like here I'm in the city, also big city. It's like 1.5 million people. So I'm thinking to get out of here actually, but I've been living there actually because I hate the city anyway. But right now I'm still in the city, and I'm thinking to leave because yeah, it's just there's no I don't live near any nature anyway. Just like everywhere buildings and no it's just small parks, but I don't like this place at all. I
Yeah,
prefer
man.
yeah you know
Yeah, I would sorry to cut you off, but yeah, I would advise, man, that you get out of the city if you're able to. In fact, I was seeing, there is an exodus, of people who are leaving the city now, right? People are flocking away from those cities. So yeah, man, if you're able to, get the chance, to leave the cities, then I would definitely say, go for it. Hey, go for it, man, because
I do. It's like
it's gonna
yeah,
get bad over there.
it's yeah. My parents they own it, so and my dad was like he's an accountant and he works there actually, but he goes there only in the weekend. So he's letting me, they would let me stay there and stuff. So, but they would still come there on the weekends. My parents, I mean, and but my wife, yeah, she doesn't want to move from here. So I don't like, So when I would live there, I would be there like pretty much alone, except for the weekends when they would come to
Yeah.
there for a day or two. So yeah,
Right.
but I had that
So yeah,
option. So
man.
that's good
Yeah,
actually.
man, I definitely
Yeah.
yeah, man, I definitely, will say that, if you get the option, then yeah, man, find somewhere, away from the city, man, if you're able to. But anyway, man, I thank you for coming on with me, tonight. We'll definitely have you on, again when we go live next time. Just make sure you have that notification bell on so you can join us when you see us live.
Yeah, I had it on, but I just fell asleep. So I joined a bit near the end actually. So yeah. All right. Thanks for
Yeah,
having
that's
me,
cool,
man.
man.
And
Yeah,
you,
yeah, that's
you
cool,
gotta
man. I'll
go.
see you around.
All right. I'll see you later. Bye,
All
man.
right. Shalom. Shalom.
Oh.
All right. So that's gonna be the end of the show for tonight. I'm gonna let it play off to about 2 hours, so I'll wait another 2 minutes. I see mine got in the chat, and I did see you in the backstage there, but the reason I didn't bring you on is because I was literally closing the show up in 3 minutes. So I saw you in there, mine God, just to put that out there. But just because of the time, because I literally had less than 4 minutes left, I did not bring you on. So just to put that out there, I did see you there. But just because the show's closing up, I didn't want to have a whole debate at the moment. You know what I'm saying? So just to put that out there, I did see you, but the show's literally coming to an end now. So that's why I didn't let the brother back on. That's the only reason why. Just put it out there. Um, but yeah, we'll definitely, do a show again. Which mind of God, when you left, we had what was the brother? We had Luke Matt, come on to the show for a little bit, so what you missed that. That brother was cool. Then, LOP joined us. Oh, look, Mind of God said, sooner or later we're, gonna do another show on his page. So that's good. As I said, everyone go subscribe to Mind of God. We do live shows on his pages as well. Um, let me see. So yeah, that's pretty much it for now. I do want to say that for the, next little while, live shows on my page will be a little, stretched out, between days now because I have only have a limited time until the 24th, which is a ways away for lack of better words. So I only have about 4 hours left of live streaming time. So yeah, we'll do some shows on Mind of God's page. We have an ETT versus Mind of God debate coming up very soon. We're probably within the next week or so. That debate's coming up. So everyone stay tuned for that. That's going to be one hell of a show, right? Hey, hey, get your popcorn ready. What side do you pick? Is Mind Guy going to give ETT a spiritual KO, or is ETT going to mop the floor with Mind God? Right? It's all up for you to decide. Inside joke. Mind God said, "Hey, look, he got more lines than the Ziggurat's cake tree." Which, hey, look, compared to last time when we had our debate, hey, Mind God's coming up to a level, right? I mean, hell, last time he gave me a run for my money, so this time I got to go harder. And I'll admit that. I will admit that. But look, Mind God said, I suspect ETT will be baptized with a great baptism. I mean, hell, that could be true. Okay, well, we're gonna find out in the very near future. But anyway, that's gonna be the end of the show for tonight. If anybody made this far into the video, watching afterwards, go ahead and put hashtag elect in the comment section. All right, go ahead and put hashtag elect in the comment section down below. So anyway, I hope everybody enjoyed tonight's, show. And with that being said, in the words of the Decoon, have a good night.